The Valdorian Empire stretched across 17 star systems, and at its heart sat Empress Era, whose violet eyes had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. She was known throughout the galaxy for her cruel beauty and merciless judgments. Her skin shimmered with an iridescent quality that marked her as royalty among the Valdorians, and her telepathic abilities could crush minds with a mere thought. She had conquered worlds before her 30th cycle, and she bowed to no one. Humans were a recent addition to her empire, a species she had initially dismissed as primitive and unremarkable. Their planet Earth had fallen without much resistance, its people scattered across Valdorian territories as laborers, servants, and soldiers. Era considered them useful but utterly beneath her attention until she met Rayan. He had been assigned to her. Personal guard detail, almost by accident, a clerical error that placed a human among the elite Valdorian warriors who protected the Empress. Rayan was young, barely 25 in Earth years, with dark hair that fell across his forehead and eyes the color of Earth's ancient forests. He was quiet, almost painfully so, speaking only when directly addressed and keeping his gaze respectfully lowered in her presence. Era had initially been insulted by his assignment. A human? Guarding her? She had nearly had him removed, but something made her hesitate. Perhaps it was curiosity, or perhaps it was the way he carried himself, with a dignity that seemed at odds with his species' defeated status. Weeks passed. Rayan stood his post outside her chambers with unwavering dedication. Unlike her Valdorian guards, who competed for her attention with displays of strength and cunning, Rayan simply existed. He performed his duties flawlessly, never seeking praise or recognition. When she swept past him in a rage after a frustrating council meeting, he didn't flinch. When she tested him with cruel remarks about his species, he accepted them with a quiet nod, his expression never betraying anger or hurt. It infuriated her and fascinated her. One evening, after a particularly exhausting diplomatic reception, Era found herself unable to sleep. She wandered onto her private balcony overlooking the capital city's glittering spires. To her surprise, Rayan was there off-duty but somehow still present, gazing up at the unfamiliar stars. "You're not on shift," she said, her voice sharper than intended. Rayan turned, immediately bowing. "My apologies, Your Majesty." "I'll leave. Stay." The word escaped before she could stop it. She moved to the railing beside him, maintaining a careful distance. "What are you looking at?" "I was trying to find Earth," he admitted quietly. "I know it's in that direction, but the stars here are all wrong. I can't find home." Something in his voice, a loneliness that echoed her own, made her pause. For all her power and glory, Era had never had a home. She had been raised as a weapon, trained to rule, forbidden from forming genuine connections. Her telepathic abilities meant most people's thoughts were open to her, making true companionship impossible. Everyone wanted something from her. "Why did you become a guard?" she asked, surprising herself with the genuine curiosity in her voice. Rayan was silent for a moment. "Because even though we lost, I wanted to protect something. Someone? It's what I'm good at." "You're good at being silent and invisible," Era corrected. But there was no venom in her words. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. "That too." Over the following months, their late-night encounters became routine. Era found herself seeking out Rayan's quiet presence, drawn to the peace she felt around him. His mind was different from others, not closed to her, but organized in a way that didn't assault her senses. His thoughts were gentle, thoughtful, filled with observations about the world around him that she had never considered. He told her about Earth, about oceans and forests, about rain and seasons changing. He described music and art, poetry and philosophy. He spoke of humanity's resilience, their capacity for hope even in darkness. And slowly, Era began to see her empire through his eyes, the cruelty she had considered necessary, the suffering she had dismissed as inevitable. It terrified her. "Why aren't you afraid of me?" she demanded one night, her voice breaking with frustration. "Everyone fears me." "They should. I could destroy you with a thought." Rayan looked at her then, really looked at her, and what she saw in his eyes stole her breath. "I was afraid at first," he admitted. "But then I saw you were lonely. Just like me. Just like all of us, really. Fear seemed less important than that. She wanted to rage at him, to prove him wrong, but she couldn't, because he was right. And because somewhere along the way, his quiet strength had become the foundation she built her days around. When the rebellion came, an uprising of subjugated worlds demanding freedom, Era faced the most difficult decision of her reign. Her generals demanded brutal suppression. The council expected nothing less than total annihilation of the resistance, but Raian's words echoed in her mind. Strength isn't just about power. It's about knowing when to show mercy. In an act that shocked the Empire, Empress Era sued for peace. She granted autonomy to conquered worlds, including Earth, restructuring the Valdorian Empire into a voluntary federation. Her council called it weakness. Many of her own people turned against her, but Raian stayed. On the day Earth was granted independence, Era found him packing his few belongings. Her hearts, both of them, constricted painfully. "You're leaving," she said, not a question. Raian turned to face her, and for the first time he didn't lower his gaze. "Only if you want me to, Your Majesty." "I am no longer Your Majesty to anyone who matters," she said bitterly. "I gave away an empire." "You chose compassion over conquest," Raian corrected gently. "That takes more courage than winning 1,000 battles." He stepped closer, his shy demeanor falling away to reveal something deeper. "And you'll always matter to me. If you'll have me, I'd like to stay. Not as your guard, as whatever you need me to be." Era, who had commanded armies and toppled civilizations, found herself speechless. This quiet, unremarkable human had done what no weapon could. He had conquered her heart completely. She reached for his hand, her iridescent skin glowing softly against his. "Stay," she whispered. "Just stay." And he did. The galaxy would never be the same.